Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times with Willy B, we'll be talking about Wonka. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell!
Welcome back to Fast Times with Willy B. I'm Willy B, and I got my lovely lady Rosie on today. Rosie, how we feeling?
Pretty good. I was excited about this movie. I was hoping I would be the guest.
Well, you are, and we're going to talk about Wonka, that is, directed by Paul King, the guy that did the Paddington movies, for those of you that don't know. Great cast. Timothée Chalamet in the lead as Wonka. Callett Lane plays the unsuspected sidekick, Noodle. Big names like Keegan-Michael in this, Hugh Grant. I really like the performance from Patterson Joseph, who played Slugworth, our main antagonist of the film. All around, pretty good performances. Let's jump into the good. There's a lot to good to talk about in this movie. So,
I agree.
For me, let's start with the homage. It paid a lot of homage to the original, and I like that a lot with the stairs going up and down, back up one. You got the lines that we get from Wilder, multiple lines from Wilder, are also in this one. Loved that. I loved the look of the movie.
I agree. Being a longtime fan of both Gene Wilder and of Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is my one true love in life. But I think Timothée Chalamet did a fabulous job at paying homage to both of the Wonkas before him.
I liked the Wonka we get with Chalamet. It's more of an innocent Wonka.
Yeah, it's like him and before he gets into his major role as the chocolatier. This is him trying to find his footing in his life, just him without any family.
Yeah, and I liked it a lot. We see a different backstory. This is obviously a prequel, so this is, like you said, before he's the big chocolate maker we all know and love. But in other movies, you get different backstories. Like in the Burton movie, he doesn't have a great relationship with his dad. You don't even know who his mom is. This one, great relationship with his mom. He misses her. She got sick and passed away. She made the best chocolate. He's trying to do the same and share it with the world. And that's what I liked. I liked the innocent Wonka. I did a lot. Not, Wilder's kind of like murderous, like, get these kids out of my factory. He yells at Charlie. Tim Burton, we all know Johnny Depp's Wonka is just creepy. But that's what you expect with a Tim Burton movie, obviously. I liked the innocent Wonka.
Yeah, I liked seeing him. Definitely, some of the things he said, definitely, I think he paid homage a little bit more to
Wilder. You thought he paid more to Depp?
I think so.
In what cases?
I don't know, just like the look on his face and some things. Like his smile sometimes was giving like that creepy Johnny Depp smile.
I thought his smile was more. I
wouldn't say it was creepy. I just think when I saw it, I was like, oh. But maybe it was just because we watched the
right before
Johnny Depp version in the car of the.
I think he takes
theater.
from both a little, but I think he also created his own. I think Chalamet stands on his own 2 feet with this performance.
Oh, for sure. I agree.
I thought he did a great job. He pays homage with the lines. He pays homage with the walking up the stairs, with the dancing, obviously with pure imagination, but at the same time, it's a different Wonka than we've ever seen before, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which I loved.
Yeah.
For me, another aspect I loved of this film, it felt very Fantastic Mr. Fox-esque. One of my favorite Wes Anderson movies, in the sense that you have 3 villains banding together to take down the main character, and that's exactly what you get here. It almost felt like it took inspiration from Wes Anderson's in that sense, but I really liked, obviously, the humanized version, and I thought the villains were really fun.
I agree. I did like the villains. I wasn't expecting them. They weren't in.
They did a really good job at hiding it in the trailer.
Yeah, the trailer, they weren't shown at all or very much. I liked him. I wasn't. Slugworth, I was very pleased with his name coming back.
Yeah. And
that's the one we know. Yes.
Patterson Joseph was my favorite performance outside of Chalamet.
He did great. I don't even know what else he's in.
No, I didn't
But he did a
recognize.
stellar. I thought his performance was stellar, and Matt Lucas, I believe is his name. He was the I don't remember his last name, but he was in Alice in Wonderland, and
Oh yes, he was the villain that was like try to be comical with it by always saying in death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the Fat Boys in
Oh yeah,
Alice in
Tweedledee
Wonderland.
and Tweedledum.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
the Fat Boys. Tweedledee and Tweedledum are the from
I know who you're talking
from
about.
from the cartoon.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
As soon as I saw him, I was like, I know him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked the other chocolatiers and how they kind of work together, and I don't know, I wasn't expecting it.
It was cool because, like, it's, Willy Wonka has always been considered, like, a family movie. But it was cool because we get, yet again, in the first one, Wilder's a little creepy. And obviously in Burton's, Johnny Depp's pretty creepy. In this one, Wonka's more innocent, but our villains are... They take over that role of adding, like, a kind of an edgy effect to a family movie.
Yeah, I liked it. Along with what are their names? Where Wonka stays.
Oh, Scrub It and Bleacher.
Yeah, they were very edgy and snarky and a little.
I liked them a lot.
I wasn't expecting that either.
Yeah, I liked a lot of the characters in this film. I thought they did a great job. The writing was great.
Yeah, I had no idea where each turn was going to take us, but and there's some movies where you watch and you're like, oh, that was a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
But I thought that at some points, and then as you keep watching, I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. So, yeah, there was some points I was like, is this kind of necessary? But I think those two definitely added a little bit more.
I was also surprised to see Rowan Atkinson in the film as the chocolate pope is what they called him.
Yes, I haven't seen him on screen in a long time.
Yeah.
As soon as
Scooby-Doo fans obviously know and love him.
As soon as they open up where you go and tell your
sins,
confessions, as soon as they opened it up, I went, oh, there was a lot of big names in here. I wasn't.
Yeah. Keegan-Michael Key.
As soon as he came up as chief of police, I was like, oh. And then, of course, he has the mustache. But you can always tell who he is. So.
I thought his character was great in the sense that he's making the deal with the chocolatiers to kind of ruin Wonka, and in return, he gets all this chocolate, and you just see his character progressively get fatter every time he's on screen. That was some of the comedy I liked, and a lot of the comedy I liked. There was a lot of comedy, but not too much cheesy comedy. Most of it landed for me.
I think so, yeah.
I thought it was definitely a weird, strange movie, but it was whimsical.
It was weird and strange. I agree.
You love weird and strange, though.
I do.
But
I'm a big Johnny Depp fan. He does weird and strange well.
That's his motif.
I know.
If he's in a movie, it's weird and strange. But yeah, I thought Chalamet did a great job. Acting across the board was great. But Chalamet, Keegan-Michael Key, and Patterson Joseph take the cake for me as the top three performances in this film.
I kind of liked speaking of characters, I liked the unlikely friendship situation of everybody at the end with Noodle and all they all had such weird jobs and fell into the situation so differently, and that was, I don't know, I like a good ending.
Yeah.
It was
I thought the ending was as close to perfect as you can get.
The ending with the scene with him in his workshop or in his factory.
Kind of putting it together with the Oompa Loompa.
Everything came together. And then obviously there's more homage there with the chocolate waterfall and the chocolate river. And my favorite part of the ending is, this is from, I believe, Wilder's, the very beginning, when Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa took the sip out of the cup. I believe that I might have been in both, and then bit the cup. That was very nostalgic for me. I love that they did that.
I would even back it up a little more and say him finding Noodle's mother was the start of like the really good ending for me, because then from there he shares the last chocolate bar his mom made with his 6 new friends. Then he convinces the Oompa Loompa to be his taste tester because they love chocolate.
Yeah.
And then that's where you get the creation of the factory. And I just thought, for this movie, it was sitting at a certain point for me, and the ending kind of gave it a little boost. And I liked the production design a lot. I thought it was very,
beautiful.
It was beautiful. It almost gave me, a steampunk vibe, but, it was light. It wasn't, heavy pour on steampunk, but it definitely was steampunk.
I didn't even realize until you mentioned it on the way home that you noticed that, and then putting two and two together. I mean, Wonka in all variations of it always had that kind of edgy steampunk with the top hat and the long coat and the cane.
I think this being set in the time it was set in.
Yeah.
With, the opening of the little chocolate workshop he has that he carries. Just everything. I loved it a lot. I loved the production design. I thought it was...
I agree.
Top tier.
I agree. I think, just the small things that sometimes don't always hit the mark, the animation of some things, when at the end with the factory, I think the CGI or whatever they used to do it was fabulous. The chocolate looked realistic.
Good.
It looked so good.
I was telling her on the way home, I was like, man, we got to stop at Haggis, but obviously they were closed to get some Haggis chocolate.
I just think
closest thing to
everything...
Wonka we've got in town.
Yes, it is. I just think everything was perfect for the time, and then also gave that colorful Wonka-esque accent to everything. His chocolates always were so perfect and so colorful, very Wonka. The only thing, I loved all his chocolate creations, but I was really hoping for them to slide in the everlasting gobstopper situation, because that seems to be the two things that are in both of the movies before.
I think he paid homage to it a little bit. And
the colors.
Not just the colors. And it's something you got to catch. It's almost like an Easter egg. But when he eats that last piece of chocolate from his mom, she asks, is it as good as you thought it'd be? And he goes, every little bit. I wish it lasted forever. And he kind of looked up, and I was like, okay, he just got the idea of something everlasting, right?
That very last piece of candy that they rolled out, I think it was at the end in the factory. I really thought it was going to be...
Yeah.
Because I saw the colors. Because it, rolled down that little chute, and I saw the colors, and I was like... And then it was... And I wasn't... But, which is fine, because it's... in different time frames, so maybe that wasn't even, a thought.
Yeah. Going on to the color, I liked it in the sense that it wasn't colorful unless Wonka was on the screen. It was that very rundown steampunk feel, the browns, the bronzes, the beiges of that time period.
Yeah.
And whenever he was on screen, you see your blues, your reds, your yellows, your greens, your purples. The rainbow just throws up. And I think that just goes to show again.
The light he brought everywhere. I
exactly.
agree.
I can go on and on about the good, but let's jump over to the meh. For me, some of the musical numbers. And I know, for me, a musical's hit or miss. Some musicals I love, some musicals I'm like... It's when you force the musical, and a couple of the numbers here felt forced.
Yeah.
Going back to the good, I did love... obviously, Pure Imagination, and I loved World of Your Own when he opens the shop for the first time.
Yeah.
I loved those two numbers, but some of the numbers didn't hit. I didn't think the zoo number hit for me much when they start singing while they're milking the giraffe. When they do that number when they're making a deal with the chief police, the three bad guys, I wasn't a fan of that number. Just some of those numbers felt forced, but that's the only... It wasn't bad, because again, it's a musical. Obviously, it makes sense, but for me, it just kind of... hit the pacing and slowed it down a bit for me when those numbers just felt a little forced.
Yeah,
You love musicals.
I'm a big theater and musical and play kind of gal. But I don't... I knew it was going to be a musical. Mm-hmm. I didn't know to what extent, because, it wasn't, every 5 minutes. Some movies that are considered a musical type have, a song in every, every chapter.
This definitely felt more like a musical than the first two.
Oh, of
The
course.
first two was, kid goes down, Oompa Loompas do a number.
Yeah.
This was more.
Yeah, I agree.
that.
And I think it worked in some aspects.
Oh, for sure.
The beginning I really liked because you kind of get like him on the boat coming to this new place.
Yeah.
Exploring and like the excitement and the giddiness. I like I think the beginning musical number with him with losing all his money so quickly leads into where he stayed, and it kind of just like everything else fell into place. I think maybe without that would have not hit the mark.
Yeah.
Like, no. I mean, I'm not saying it had to be a musical. I'm just saying that the lyrics of the music, the lyrics of the
all of the
music
songs
were
made
good.
sense where they were placed. Just some of them felt like they didn't have to be music. Some of the songs felt like they were forced into songs.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with some of the ones you mentioned, especially the one with when they're milking the giraffe.
Yeah.
But I think it was just because he, all versions of Wonka, he very quick-witted.
Yeah.
So he was trying to find something that rhymed with noodle.
Yeah.
The light bulb went off in his head, and he just had to sing about it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like, I mean, you kind of do that sometimes, just like in life. So I wouldn't say they were forced. It was just like kind of, I wasn't expecting them to be like a musical montage.
Yeah.
The ending definitely hit the mark with pure imagination.
I thought the Oompa Loompa songs were great too. Those aren't what I'm including. It's just mainly those two. They were just kind of meh for me. And like I said, it wasn't the whole musical. I enjoyed most of the numbers.
Yeah.
Just a couple of them were like, do we need that here?
Sometimes I would be watching it and I forgot it was a musical because they were so few and far between, and then they were short and maybe not necessary per se. But
it's just those couple made the pacing a little slow for me. But outside of that, again, going to the good, it was very well paced.
I agree.
Do you have anything to add in the meh?
To the meh.
To the meh.
I don't think so.
So let's hop over to the bad.
Yeah, to the bad. There's not very much on the bad, but we definitely have some things.
I only have one thing, and it was some of the visual effects. Like I said, I love the production design. There was just a couple moments, especially at the beginning, where you could just tell it was CGI. And I was like, and it was at the beginning when he was getting off the boat and he's like swinging down the pole. It just looked very. It reminded me of Harry Potter when he's playing Quidditch and he's on the broom. How that kind of looked, like very video game kind of looking. But again, that's the only thing I have.
Yeah.
There wasn't much to gripe about with this film. Pacing is more meh than bad, and it's because of those musical numbers. Again, nothing to really hate though.
Yeah. If I had anything, I was thinking about it, and now it just fell out of my head. I think I wish we would have done like a little bit more of a backstory on the 3 other chocolatiers.
That'd been cool.
A little bit like into their shop, maybe, because we see the outside of all of their shops in the little square. Maybe, I mean, just because, like, we know Slugworth's backstory.
Yeah.
We just know that he's out for
Wonka.
But those other 2 were kind of new, but they played very well. I don't really have anything bad. I do agree with the couple of the effects. Other than that, the effects were stunning.
Yeah. I thought we were going to get more of I guess we get it with him explaining his mom made chocolate, but I thought we were going to get more of, like, the Depp character where we see him going through the woods to get these whimsical ingredients, which we didn't really see, but it was cool to see, like, all the ingredients he had, especially when he popped open that case for the first time.
Yeah, it definitely is. This takes a more whimsical approach
to Wonka.
I feel like in the other 2, like, they're very, like, basic chocolates that you can get anywhere, and these ones are, like, you would never be able to find anywhere, and they do
chocolates
like all
that make
these
you float, chocolates that make your hair grow.
But like in both of them, like the Wilder's version, they have the fizzy pop that makes you float.
Yeah.
And then in Depp's with the chewing gum.
That makes
So it kind of had,
violent.
like, kind of the same vibe.
Yeah.
But, like, some of them just made you feel, like those ones they gave to the security guard at the zoo.
Yeah.
That also paid homage to the bubble gum where you get, like, the whole Thanksgiving.
The whole meal, yeah.
Yeah, which I liked because I was like, because then they showed each step of that. So.
Yeah. Pretty good. Let's jump over and let's rank the 3 Wonka movies. Starting with your least favorite to your favorite. How would you rank the 3 movies derived or based on Roald Dahl's book?
I'm going to be honest, and I have never read Roald Dahl's.
Well, the movies that are just based on them.
I'm just saying that. So I'm not one of those people that's like, the book is better, because I've never read the book. But I, being the true Johnny Depp fan, I will have to put him first. I know.
So you're going Burton at number 1?
I am going Burton number 1. I know it's unpopular opinion because you either I feel like you either love that or hate that one because it is kind of...
We were also 6 years old when that came out. Like, it was prime childhood movie. Like, I feel like most people born late 90s, early 2000s love that movie more than most.
Yeah. And then I will probably have to say this new one.
At 2?
With number 2. I think Timothée Chalamet did a great rendition of a very classic character, and then unfortunately I'll have to put Mr. Gene Wilder at the end.
So, but you like all of the movies,
oh, of
obviously.
course. I will, if you put me, you even know, I'm not a big moviegoer. I have my certain movies I enjoy watching. I'll watch just about anything.
Yeah.
But this is one of those, if you turn it on any time of the day, any day of the week, I will probably sit there and watch the whole thing through, and may even recite a couple of lines here and there. But this is definitely, I think it's pretty good ranking for me.
For me, I'm going to go the original one first. You just can't beat the original. I think Gene Wilder is Willy Wonka. For me, I'm going second Wonka. I really liked the backstory. I loved the innocent Wonka that carries it. The ending was fantastic. All the performances across the board were great. And I just loved that fantastic Mr. Fox steampunk Wonka. I just loved it.
Yeah.
And that's not to say I hate the Burton film. I also am in the same boat where, because of when I was born, I do enjoy that movie more than most. It's just third for me because it just doesn't match up as well to these 2 movies. Not to say that it's a bad movie at all.
Right. They all have their
strengths.
They all have their different
They're all very different for 3 movies based off the same book.
I agree. I like how the different directors portrayed them all very differently, but also they all paid homage to each other.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp's version played homage. I mean, some of it might be a little copy and paste.
Yeah.
Which
that was a straight on remake, not a prequel. So.
Right. But I enjoyed all 3 of them thoroughly, and now once this new one is on streaming or Blu-ray or anything, I'm sure it'll be just with the rest of them, and I can sit down and watch it any time of the day, and may even memorize a couple of songs or 2.
There you go. So let's go to our final thoughts and rating of the film. Any last thoughts you'd like to leave, and what do you give Wonka out of 10?
I just have a couple of, I don't think we mentioned it too much about, Wonka helping, Noodle find her mom. Mm-hmm. I think that I almost started tearing up. I'm not a big movie crier, and you know that. I
think that's what helped this movie a lot.
I agree.
It was definitely the strongest emotional film we felt of the 3 Wonkas.
Yes, I agree.
I think Burton actually has the second most emotional pull with, you kind of get more of a background of how poor they are, the Buckets. Yeah. But this one was a lot more, and if you've been watching the videos, you know I'm a sucker for a strong emotional presence.
Yeah.
And this movie had that.
I just think him finding the imprint of Slugworth's ring. Yeah. And then having that epiphany that about Noodle's necklace, her
Very
ring
well
around
written.
her neck.
Very well written.
I think it was a very good.
Full circle connection.
It was, because he made that pinky promise to her while they were milking the giraffe. Mm-hmm. He said the pinky promise is the most profound promise you can make to somebody. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, we don't even hear anything from her mother. But you don't need to.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that I think if they would have kept going with it, it would have tanked. But having just that pure moment, I mean, we never got Noodle's actual age, but I'm sure pretty young, I would say, probably 13 or no older than 15, I would say. So being able to see her mother for the first time, and Wonka making that promise to her is, I mean, pretty tear-jerking to me.
Yeah.
So that was just my one last. We didn't really mention that, but I think that was definitely one of the things that I give it a big thumbs up.
What would you give it out of 10?
You know me, and I'm a stickler for these rankings, but I mean, I was watching, take some notes during the movie, and the good definitely outweigh the bad, so I think I'm gonna probably give it an 8 or a 9.
8 or a 9, okay.
Yeah.
For me, as far as final thoughts go, I think we hit a lot of the good. Like I said, I just love the feel of it. Fantastic Mr. Fox, I can't say that enough. I called Corey after this movie, and I was like, dude, it was a steampunk Fantastic Mr. Fox meets Wonka. And he's like, I know exactly what you mean by that, which
Corey
is kind of
always
weird.
knows exactly what you're talking about. When you brought up Fantastic Mr. Fox, I was unsure of what you meant by that. And then when you brought up steampunk, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, those two things would have never came to my head unless you mentioned it. But you are a great movie watcher, so
yeah,
I agree.
That's the takeaway I had for it. Great movie. I'm going to go 8. I was sitting around a 7 for most of the movie. Like, it's just a good movie, but that third act and the ending really boosted it up a point for me. So I'm going to go 8 out of 10. Very good movie. Definitely worth the watch. And like I said, you know, some people are going to be hesitant to watch this because it's just another Hollywood remake, but I liked the prequel aspect. I thought Chalamet made a Wonka that stands on its own, and I think it's definitely worth the watch, and I think a lot of people that watch it will enjoy it.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Even if you're not into musicals or the big musical numbers, I mean, if you look past those, I mean,
you got
quite
yourself
honestly,
a pretty good story.
I mean, some of the music does go hand in hand with the story, but some it's just kind of tossed in there. But I mean, big names on the screen.
Yeah.
Names we haven't seen.
Yeah.
Of either for a while or at all ever. Some new names that I think are probably going to be coming up here. Mm-hmm. Some more and some other big things that coming up in Hollywood.
For sure. Well, that does it for our Wonka review. Thank you, Rosie.
Thank you for having me.
Mwah.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. If you've watched videos before and you like this video as well, please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think of the channel. Let us know what you think of Wonka. And we will talk to you all soon. Social links will be in the description below as well. Make sure you follow those. But thank you guys all for watching, and have a great day.
Peace. And love.